Welcome to We Invest Different podcast. I'm co-host John-Micah Bess.
And I'm co-host Victor Thomas.
And what We Invest Different podcast is all about is not conversations just about financial literacy or investing, but we dive into the things that we'll need in life, like character, integrity, and life principles and standards. And we also get to have conversations with other people who are different and add value to the world.
And what inspired us to start this podcast was seeing the influx of people, investing in the stocks, real estate, Bitcoins, or all the other coins. But, we didn't want to neglect the other side of the investment, which is investing in ourselves and our mental well-being and our character. It's hard to maintain the money that we receive without making sure we're looking within. So we just wanted to make sure we shed light on that part as well.
Finally, tap in. We back. First episode of We Invest Different podcast. And like we always start, we done did the trailer and everything, but we're going to do it again because we're going to introduce ourselves for the people who don't know, who haven't listened to the trailer. But I'm co-host John-Micah Bess.
And this the other co-host, Victor Thomas, the second.
And we back here, man, to have conversations, like we said, that are different, that's outside of the norm when it comes to speaking about investing. Because this, where the whole mindset started from, the We Invest Different mindset started from, is realizing that most of the time when we talk about money, we only talk about, let me rephrase that. Most of the time when we talk about investing, we thinking about money.
Mm-hmm.
We're not actually thinking about the person we're becoming. And that's like, it's not even a part of our thought process. We only want to know the amount. You dig what I'm saying? So We Invest Different would stem from that. And we wanted to improve the quality of our conversations and the quality of who we are as people by tapping into those other things that we can invest in, like our mental health, like the energy that we tote every day, our spirituality, our spiritual mindset, our personal development. Like it goes on and on. Like the list goes on and on. Like it's so many things that we can shine light on and pay attention to that will help us evolve into a positive direction in life, bro.
Real talk.
For sure.
And I think, that's super important, man, because if we get the money, like just for example, man, I know you heard about the CEO of Martyr. We were talking about him when we was working out. You know what I mean?
I don't know his name, though.
I don't know his name either, but he the CEO of Martyr, so obviously he got a bunch of money.
Right.
And he still jumped in front of a train and killed himself. You know what I mean? Bro. So that show you right there that with the money, it has to be something else. And, I think that's what this vibe, I think this podcast will bring that value to the conversation of investing. Like, it's not just about the money. So I'm real happy to be on this journey with you, cuz.
Me too, man. For real. Me too. It was God, bro.
Nothing but.
I feel like I don't even remember how We Invest Different came about. It just really hit my brain. And like, as you've seen through our company, through our clothing company, our personal development clothing company, the design we made, We Invest Different, I incorporated the double F's in the word different.
Dumb hard.
And I don't even know how, like how did that fit? Like, how did I know that the word different was going to have two F's? Like, when I got the message, it just fit perfectly to add that in there. And it gave us an opportunity to tap into something different. And that was the main goal of really me continuing to build the brand, bro. Because, like, when we first started, I initially was a person that had the mindset of chasing. And this is kind of what we're going to talk about during this podcast. Like, because I want to get into us talking about, family order.
Right. Because
it has a lot to do with our mindset, bro. Family order and structure has a lot to do with how we think growing up, which is going to develop how we're going to think when we get adults.
Exactly. And then we're going to pass that down
to
the next generation.
Trickle down effect. Mm-hmm. So it's like, before I ask the question that we both going to talk about, I just wanted to go back and reminisce about where I was mentally when, financial fashion came about. I wanted to be different, but at first I only was inspired by poverty. And when I say inspired by poverty, it's like I was inspired by not having.
Yeah.
So I dwelt on not having more than, putting my energy towards what I do have.
Shoot.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I literally would only get up and be fueled by, man, when I get this, I'm going to do this and that. Oh, man, when I get to this certain place in life, I'm going to be this and that. But I realized, like, when we chase things outside ourselves, our true inner self get harder and harder to reach. So we kind of lose that self-awareness because we putting all of our focus on things outside of ourselves. And that's literally where I was. In my mind, I only was thinking about retiring my mama. I only was thinking about buying her a car, buying her a house. I was thinking about those physical.
I remember you saying that too all the time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was only thinking about those physical things that comes with success.
Right.
But then with growth and through my transition and personal development, man, like, I started doing more positive things. Like, my quality of thought started to change and started thinking more positive. And I realized I went through a lot of spiritual changes too when I did this transition. Like,
yes, sir.
I had realized that I was chasing money, man, and I was doing it religiously, like, and I was justifying me doing it. So it was like, that's why I say I was religiously doing it.
How was you justifying yourself in doing it?
Because I was using poverty as an excuse. I was using poverty as an excuse to just hop on anything that I can make money with. Now, I did have a moral compass because I did grow up in the church. So I knew right from wrong. I did have a moral compass, and I knew, like, how far I wanted to go before I was like, nah, I'm going a little too far. Yeah. So it was certain things I didn't do.
Yeah.
But I did do some fuck shit too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I did lower my standards. I did lower my esteem. I did degrade myself a little bit doing certain things for money. And I also knew that I didn't want to bring that negativity into the brand. So I had to really do some inner development, and analyzation to really figure out what direction I was going to. But getting to the point of what we're talking about on this podcast, with family structure and order, I realized, man, that something that most of us have in common in the Black community is that we wasn't taught anything but to chase. Like it's like a tradition. It's a custom that we just pay bills. You know what I'm saying? It's a tradition that we do enough to pay bills. And like with that mindset, it's kind of hard to be creative. It's kind of hard to really tap into what you enjoy doing.
Real talk.
Because it puts a lot of pressure on you. It puts a lot of pressure because you're only thinking about, man, if I don't do this, I'm going to be without this. I'm going to be without that. And we get caught up in the mindset of lack. And we don't even tap into, like, the possibilities of purpose.
Yeah, that's real talk. Because I know, like, and I've heard this from plenty of creative people. It's like, when they in a tough time, it's like, it's hard to create anything. You feel me? It's like all the inspiration just gone because it's like, and this go for me too as a creator. It's like all of that creative yearning just goes because we get engulfed in, what we see at the moment. You know what I mean? So I can definitely relate to what you're saying, man, for real.
So you do see that's a problem in the Black family, not just in the Black family, any family, but we being transparent. How we were raised. There were certain things that we were taught about money, not on purpose. Some of them not on purpose. Some of them just watching how our family use money. Like for my situation, like I seen my mama be afraid to look at her bank account.
Good God.
And then I found myself doing the same thing, even to this day. So we really gotta watch, what we like, the type of mindset and the type of lifestyle we live in, bro. It really affects who watching us. So I took that, like, that panic. I took a lot of anxiety and panic when it comes to finances, which is why I chased money in the first place. But then I realized that you really got to tap into purpose, and you really got to figure out what you can do to make a difference in the world. And I feel like once you tap into that greater purpose, and with purpose coming from God already know what you have need of. Right. You did what I'm saying? Like, he already know you where your lack is. Right. He know what you have need of. He know the things that you want. He know your deepest, darkest desires. And then he even said he'll give you the desires of your heart, but you got to put them first. And I really think that's the main thing that's missing in the family order.
Yeah. And I think that's just missing in the black community, period. Because it's like, I ain't going to say in the black community, because the black community is big on church. Yeah. But I think when it just comes to the whole pursuit, it seems like it's a divide. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this is church, but this ain't got nothing to do with this business I want to start or me creating. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to leave God out of it and let church be over there.
Yeah.
So it's like, once we run into them tough times, it's like, oh, church out the window, because it's just only in this section of our life. Or not church, but God. You know what I mean? We reserve God for this one section of our life instead of letting God be in all of our life. You know what I mean?
That's a big problem.
Real talk.
You're really talking up my tree, bro. You in my book, because that was really my reality. That's really my reality growing up.
Word.
Trying to understand the balance of God and regular life. You know, because growing up, you get, like, I had two viewpoints, two perspectives of life. You know, I go to church and see the possible good things I can be doing with my life. You know, I could be focusing on pleasing God. I can be focused on doing his will and being good in the earth. But then also, you know, I would come home and reality is set in, and I'm actually seeing real people doing real things in life, and it don't necessarily line up with what I hear at church.
What you mean by that?
So it's like, we taught how we supposed to be, and a lot of times when we become religious people, we start judging based on what people do.
Word. So
it starts to create a person. It starts being who you are. You start modeling yourself after that religion. Like you really like your whole standard and belief system is based off of good and evil. Like, if you do good, you good. If you do evil, you evil. It's not no balance. Like, it's not an understanding to where you like, we all come short of the glory of God.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? See, that's just straight up truth. They ain't got nothing to do with what church you go to or nothing. Like, that statement, that's just period. Yeah. We all fall short of the glory of God. The Creator, the Most High.
Right.
So it's like, instead of just using that as a general statement, we use it as a point of judgment. You know, so we even judge ourselves by that too.
Yeah.
Like, we just say, you know, if I do good, then I'm good. When in reality, you still not good. We still at the mercy of God. Even when we do good, we still at his mercy, because we still got sin in us. So what I mean by what I said, how, you know, you can, you know, come from church and you can see how they live and you know right from wrong, and then you start to have that mindset of judging people that don't go to church. And like, I literally lived through that and trying to find balance. So I see that's a conflict as well. You know, because a lot of people in religious, you know, backgrounds, they have a strong belief about money. They have a strong belief about money. You know, is that, you know, the root of evil, the love of money is the root of all evil, but we leave out the word love.
I've heard that so many times, people leave out that. And that's integral to the statement.
Yeah, bro.
That one word changed the whole statement, man.
It really does. Because like we was talking about earlier, you know, God even set money in place to be used as a tool.
For sure.
You know, because he know that it's a possession that man will have.
Right.
Like, it's one of those things that's plentiful on the earth.
Right.
So it's like, to honor God with your money, he does that because we covet it. It's something that we love. It's something that really we can't live without, or hard to live without. You see what I'm saying? Like, money is the next thing to God. You know what I'm saying? Like, money is up there with breath. You know, because everything takes money. So that's why, and I think it's a trick of the devil too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Tapping into that. Like, it is a lot of tricks out here that have us thinking that, you know, if we don't go out and do certain things for money, that we less of a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that play a role too. Like, we really don't think about integrity. We think about, I got to do what I got to do.
Right. And then at that point, what you just said, and considering how important money is to life, like breathing, I think because of that, money end up being a lot of people's God without them even recognizing it. You feel me?
Exactly.
Without them even knowing it. They feel like, well, I'm just on the grind. I'm doing what I gotta do. I gotta go get it.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And I do whatever I got to do it.
Yes, bro.
That's serving.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And people don't, and it's sad when, you know, you get into that place, and like going back to what you said, man, it's just important to remember the other side of that, you know, the other side of that. And I ain't saying it like I'm preaching or nothing, but because I done been in that same situation, you feel me?
Yeah.
And I had to have that moment where I realized, like, okay, what am I really doing for money? What am I really feeding myself? Because, you know, music, you know, that's been my thing for a long time, you feel me? Yeah. And like you, I had a background in knowing God, you know what I mean? So it's like, with me knowing that, I was one of those people that was leaving God over here and I'm going to do this over here, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's kind of, I was contradicting myself in what I knew, because it was like I'm reading scripture, I'm familiar with God, but then I go over here and like involve myself with, we'll just say, the rap music industry, and that comes with so much, you know what I mean? The lyrical content, you know, drugs, you know what I mean? Just being in those environments, and it's not a good thing, man. You know, just trying to leave God out of our personal endeavors. You know what I mean?
I do want to let you know too, like you said, you had experiences with church, going to church growing up, just like I did. But I know we went a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but I'm also letting you know that I still had that same battle of learning one thing here, but then you get into the real world where people are faced with different things. They ain't come from where you came from. Yeah. So it's like we still got that same battle with trying to figure out what and what not to do, because some of these people are your family. Yeah. Some of these people are authoritative figures in your life. So it's like it's a thin line, because you then could still be judgmental. Like you said, instead of looking at what you're around as an opportunity to bring good to it, you looking at it as, let me separate myself, let me individualize God. Like, let me put him in a box. Because you really feel like you can't transfer that, because you're not looking at it as an opportunity to be good in darkness, be light in darkness.
Shine the light.
Yeah, light. Like, you're not looking at it as a good thing. We looking at it as, oh, what people gonna say about me. But what I'm learning is that when you being sincere and you being real and you not trying to be some sanctified lunatic,
good God,
when you just being real and you being 100 with people, bro, they tap in.
Yes, sir.
And they respect you in return. Like, they might not throw away everything they doing and change their life at that day, right, and that time. Right. But best believe they hearing you, bro. You planting a seed in their ear. Because as long as you showing respect and no judgment, because every time, bro, dang, I ain't want to get to talking like this, but but I'm just saying, bro, like, every time God inserted himself in a man's life, it was love. It was love in it. It was always love and a certain level of understanding. Like that time when that... Yo, what's going on, podcast family? It's the CEO, Mr. John Bess, and I'm coming to talk to you about Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free, and it has creation tools so you can record your podcast from your phone and your computer. Also, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Music, and many more platforms. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Now, if you're interested, download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Now back to the show. When they was trying to come tell on that hoe in the Bible, yeah, I'm going to use the lingo hoe. Yeah, I'm going to say hoe. Because she was a prostitute, kind of. You know what I'm saying? She had multiple husbands. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they caught this lady in the act. They caught this lady in the act of committing adultery. Right. And they tried to come tell Jesus, like, you know, this woman got caught in the act with the whoop, the whoop. You know what you supposed to do with her? We supposed to stone her. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's stone her.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord wrote in the sand, like, he that is without sin cast the first stone.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is, my whole point is that we have to look at the opportunity to be a help. Christ always looked at an opportunity to be a help.
Yes.
He looked for opportunity.
And just going back to what you said, he went to where he could be a help. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, but that, like, one thing I noticed about a lot of people that's religious is that they like to do what you said, like separate themselves.
Yes, bro.
But, you know, Jesus wasn't walking around with the people that didn't need help. You know what I mean? He was down there in them trenches.
Like, where they at?
In the trenches.
I came for a mission. Like, I got a mission. I got a purpose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's really, and see, that's what we talking about. In the family order and structure, we have to instill purpose. Like, even though I grew up in the church, I didn't really understand purpose.
Right.
You know, we understand, go to church and it's good. But it's very vital that we explain what that purpose is. Like, like, if I'd have known what I was going to church for, more, if I would have understood it more, I would have had less of a battle with finding myself, bro.
Word.
Because I ain't really understand. I was in a battle, like I love gangs. You dig what I'm saying? Like, because it was in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Like, when we moved to Forest Park, bro, like, well, I got introduced to gangs before we moved to Forest Park. But when we finally got there, our next door neighbor was in Southside Mafia. And, you know, they was in beef with Hit Squad. So, like, my next door neighbor, they was gang members.
Right.
So we used to be over there fighting and everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bamming and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Running 30, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, actually, bro, hanging with a gang member was my first time smoking weed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was my first time ever smoking weed, bro, was with a gang member.
Right.
Well, his big brother was in Southside Mafia, and his big brother used to always drag him to fights and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, anytime something pop off, he coming to get me too.
Right.
So I just see that without me knowing my purpose, like, I couldn't step up and stand for anything. Like, I knew right from wrong, but I didn't know how to balance temptations in life. Right. I didn't know the value in being different. I didn't know that, bro. I used to get home from school. For everybody that's listening, I went to a Christian academy. Like, we stayed in, you know, different parts of Metro Atlanta and some places in Atlanta, but we ended up going to school at our church Christian academy that was in Noonan, Georgia, probably like 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes from where we were, outside of the city. So, being at a Christian academy, you know, we had a uniform. We had to wear ties and we had to wear dress shoes and slacks or whatever. They was instilling, you know, a pattern. But I ain't really understand that. So on my way home from school, I snatch off my tie and try to look more like everybody else. Mm. Because I was ashamed. I was ashamed of who I was because I didn't understand what I was becoming. I didn't understand the value in what I was becoming.
Right.
But when I got older and started understanding, like, oh, man, like, we separated. Like, okay, we not separated because we good. We separated by what we know. Mm-hmm. What we was able to be blessed with the understanding of. Like, it's not saying that we're any better. Like, we're not good in terms of our flesh, in terms of, like, our person. Because God ain't got no respect of a person anyway. But I had realized that the difference was that I realized that God loved me and that he put me here for a reason.
Right.
And, you know, like, we're not just out here randomly living. Like, we belong to somebody. Mm-hmm. If I would have known that, like, if I would have actually was able to communicate that, because I did know that we was different. I just didn't want to be different.
Good God. That would it be. That would it be. And I think going through that phase is important. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of times we'll sit back and look at our past with not walking in our purpose or understanding our purpose, and we'll say, dang, if I had known what I know now back then, you know what I mean, I'll be better off.
Yeah.
But in all actuality, we wouldn't know what we know right now if it wasn't for us being blind back then. You did what I'm saying? So it's important to go through those spaces and embrace them, man. Cause man, I heard a message the other day, man, but it was just talking about everything that we go through, man. Every single thing. Even right now and in the past, we need to look at it as a learning experience and find the value in it. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I had to learn to do, because, man, I done been into so much shit, cuz, and you know it, man. You feel me?
Yeah.
And for a while, it was just like, well, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it. And before that, it was like, I don't see nothing wrong with it. But at one point, it was like, I'm going to just keep doing it. I know it's wrong. I'm going to keep doing it, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I can look at that and easily be like, dang, man, I wish. But now I find myself looking back on those situations. You know what I mean? And a part of me healing from what I've done to myself was me looking at that and saying, okay, what can I learn from it now?
Yeah.
What can I learn from it now? I see what I did. Now, what can I learn now? And not to necessarily learn just to make my life better moving forward, but what can I learn to share with somebody that may be going through something similar?
Wow.
That's the best thing I can do with my life, man. You know what I mean? I like the show, like, we invest different. You feel me? You know what I mean? We invest different. We could talk about investing in money, which we will, but I think that investing in our brothers and sisters and our people, that's the best investment we can make. And we can't do that until we invest into ourselves. You know what I mean?
Right, bro. That's right.
That's why we go through everything, I feel, man. And I think once we finally get to the point of embracing that we are just generally different, because everybody ain't on this hype.
You're right, bro.
And once we embrace it, that's when we can really, start seeing the change and stuff not seeming so bad in the world. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I recognize this is like that, but, you know what I mean? I can bring this to the table to help change it.
Yes.
Instead of sitting back and complaining like a lot of people do. Why these young folks doing this? Why these young folks doing that? You know what I mean? Why that nigga did that to me? Why that bitch said that to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We so caught up in how we want things to be instead of just looking in ourselves and saying, okay, how can I make this situation better? And that's what I want to do in my life, man. You feel me? How can I make the situation better instead of sitting back and complaining?
That's real, bro.
You know what I'm saying? For real.
That's real. And shoot, man, see, that's the reason why we started We Invest Different Pod, so we can bring these things to the forefront to plant seeds in the world, plant seeds in the mind of our listeners and whoever, this audio, video, touch, and one of those things that I told you that we was going to do when we first started the podcast, I wanted to try to tap into what we learned, like what's something new you learned. Like, and this is what we're going to do every single week. This is segment, you know what I'm saying, what you learned. Because we want to make it a habit of learning something every time. So every time we do an episode, we need to be able to bring something to the show that we learned. Yes, that we can go and apply and show other people so they maybe can apply it to their lives. So what's something new that you learned recently?
With this whole working out thing I've been on for a few weeks, man.
Yeah.
I think in order to bring in a new habit, for me, and it might help somebody, but for me, if I can just do that first step to do it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm talking about the gym. If I can just put my shoes on, you know what I mean? Yeah. If I can just put my shoes on, cuz, I can get there.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it. And it just start looking at that one thing. So it's like, for me, with anything that I do, I can't keep looking at the big thing. Break it down. Right. I got to break everything down. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I think that when I look at something, that's so big, because I'm like, dang, man, I'm talking about I want to lose this weight and go to the gym this much and do this, whatever. It's like, dang, man, it can seem intimidating, and it can make you back off. Like, dang, man, I can't do that. But once I break it down, I can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a part of the reason why now is like, my goal is to work out every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least 5 days out the week.
Facts.
You know what I mean? But right now, where I started, cause I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go 1 day out the week.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go 2 days out the week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just start small. So I think that's something that I'm learning and living through right now. Start small. Don't sit back and just wait. Just do what you can and go from there. You know what I mean? That's with anything, I feel.
Hey, bro, that was very valuable. That's very valuable, bro. You taught me something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of what I've been. That's kind of a mantra we both believed, back from when we was doing the incremental movement.
Oh,
I won't go into that.
For sure.
I won't go into that right now, but I definitely been on that wave for a minute, of really gaining clarity by breaking stuff down and reducing it into smaller parts, man. It really helps with the clarity. But what I learned recently, like I've been doing a lot of mental health research, and because I'm now a mental health advocate. I've been one, but I didn't realize I was one. Like I had been doing it all along. Like I had started looking at my content, and some of my content was already geared towards that area. I mean, I had already went to school for it, but so subconsciously I was already doing what I would love to do. Anyway, that's why I talked about the mindset so much. But what I learned recently is how stress affects our immune system. And I really made a post on Instagram. I made a reel this morning, about that, informing people that if your stress goes undealt with, you are maintaining stress hormones in the body. And the stress hormone is called cortisol. And cortisol, high levels of cortisol in the blood, it raises the blood pressure. It increases your heart rate. And it reduces lymphocytes in the blood. And if you know lymphocytes, it's in the white blood cells that fight off viruses, bacteria, and infections. So you become susceptible. What's the word?
Susceptible.
Susceptible.
I think. Oh no.
But you did what I'm saying, y'all.
You open yourself up to.
Yeah, you open yourself up to being ill. You know what I'm saying? When you have a lot of stress going on, like
right.
you're just not healthy as you could be, because your body is stuck in survival mode. And man, that's a whole nother conversation. We're gonna tap in, in the future episodes on, mental health, and really paying attention to what we do and how it affects us every day. Because if we don't, we'll be like triggering our stressors without even knowing it. So it's like we really got to wake up and really pay attention to our stress levels. And that's what I'm learning, because it has an effect on the immune system. And it can really make us sick. And as you know, during this pandemic, man, that's what I'm saying, man. They don't want you to tap into you actually paying attention. But this stuff is very stressful, what's going on in the world right now.
Right.
And so a lot of people is in panic still. Yeah. And with those hormones going crazy like that, that stems to chronic mental and physical health issues. Prolonged stress on the body, it increases your chances of having chronic physical and mental health issues. So that's why if we pay more attention to our stress levels, go outside, man, take a walk, go to a trail, man. Like, if we do these things every day, have high-level conversations, tap into positivity. Like, if we do these things, that's what I'm learning. It won't only increase your mental healthiness, it'll also increase your physical healthiness, because your mental health is the root of your physical health.
Yes, sir.
So, man, that's it, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to the show for our first episode.
Whoop, whoop.
And today my birthday. We recorded.
Happy birthday, cool.
Yeah, we recorded it the day before, but God willing, He gonna let me see 27 years on February 11th, which is today when y'all will be hearing this episode.
We in the future.
For sure. I thank God for that. And I ask that y'all go support us, man. Go visit the website, www.fnfstore.com. Not only, I ain't even gonna say that. Purchase something if you see something that you would like to get, and if you just want to support, the positivity that we putting out to the world. Because if you guys support us, that means we can do what we doing even more effectively. Because now we have support from you guys, and we able to take those funds and become a better company.
Right.
So tapping out, co-host, CEO of Financial Fashion.
Hey, I want to say
Mr. John Bess. That's what I'm saying. I'm calling out. I'm tapping out.
Oh,
I'm tapping out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't leaving you out.
I'm about to say, I want to plug in too.
Yeah, we tapping out. I'm tapping out, CEO. You know what I'm saying? Financial Fashion. And we looking forward to doing a lot of more positive things. And we invest different podcasts. It's just one of the many things that we got. And so tapping out, CEO.
All right, and this is Victor Thomas again, the second. CMO, Marketing, Financial Fashion Clothing. I'm excited to go on this journey. Really feel like God called me and my brother together. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Victor Infinity 3. That's Victor Infinity 3. Just follow me. And remember that all of us are loved, man. You are loved. Remember that you are loved. You know what I mean? Don't forget that no matter how hard times get, remember love. Just put it on your mind and just watch how things start to change. Whatever you're going through. And I'll just leave it at that until next time. I appreciate y'all for listening.